Saber is a rhythm game where you are cutting cubes with your sabers. That's it, there's not much to it. It's a very simple concept. What I think make it really stand out are all those details we put in all the interactions.
To me, the Beat Saber is really special about its simplicity. Everybody can get it in a matter of the seconds. You jump in, there is no tutorial, no crazy buttons, and you see the sabers. It immediately clicks because humanity has been fighting with the Source for millennia, so you immediately know that you need to count the cubes. From the small children to the professional gamers and even to elderly people. To me, like, VR was always something which we already saw in the movies in the late 80s or even in the 90s, but it was nothing like what we have right now. To me, VR right now is a full experience with the two controllers where you can do pretty much everything. Beat Saber is our recent transition from being a mobile development studio, going back to the PC. So it was 2016 and Jan bought his first VR headset and he has his idea and he brought me in to support him with creating a level editor.
When I bought my first VR headset, I played some VR games and I thought there's something missing there. And I came up with the idea of cutting. When you hit something, you know that's the point of time where something happened. I decided, okay, let's try to make a rhythm game where you are cutting some things. And I started with objects just jumping from the floor, and that obviously didn't work right. So I was experimenting with movement of the cubes, and at one point I created a new prototype, and there's the movement of the cubes, how it's in the final game, which means they are arriving from the distance, and at some point they jump, and you are cutting them in the top point of their jump. Which in the final game, most of the people don't notice that this mechanic is there, but I think it was essential at the time, because the point where they are reaching the maximum height is very clearly defined.
When the music is the core, you have great responsibility. We all trust each other. It's really joy to work together because you know that you can have impact on the product, and I'm trying to do like really powerful music.
The only way how to really get into it is to really experience it.
Having Oculus Quest is a really game changer, and I think this is the future for us. I think it's the future for VR actually.
It's a really great headset. For the first time I really see that this can really open VR to the mainstream audience. This is the future of VR. You just put it in your backpack and you can take it anywhere with you. For example, I always take it with me and I play on the airport. And people look pretty strange and they don't really get what I'm doing. They will probably start Googling what's happening.
We are just in the beginning with the Beat Saber, I would say. We have so many plans. We are releasing 360-degree mode this December, which is a very different experience how to play the game.
Oculus Quest was something we have been really looking forward to. With our game, we had this intention to be with the elements coming at you only from one direction, but this was basically the limitation of the hardware. So once the Oculus Quest was introduced, all other possibilities immediately rose up from our shelf of ideas.
Because without cable you can freely move, but for a Beat Saber it's more about rotation. The cubes are not just coming from the front of you, but they can come from other sides. It feels very fresh.
Even though we are working on it for 2 years now, there is still that spark and that flame that everybody wants to make this game as good as possible. Because it's not just about the game itself, but we kind of feel that we are a little bit responsible for the VR as well in general. Because Beat Saber is one of the biggest titles. This makes us feel that we are having fun while creating the game, but also it's beneficial for the whole industry. Our #1 priority is to make the game as good as possible without any limits.